I talk a lot here at Alpha Male 2.0 about the importance of looking as young as you can for as long as you can as you get older. And in this video, I'm going to describe to you why that is important beyond just women. Yes, women is a factor, but there are many other reasons why you should look as young as you can for as long as you can as you get into your older golden years. I am Caleb Jones, and this is Alpha Male 2.0. I make a multi-six-figure location-independent international income while dating multiple attractive women, and I show men like you how to do the same thing. Now, when you are young, and when I say young, that means you are under the age of 35, so when you're 34 or younger than that, then you don't really need to worry too much about looking young because you already are young. But a lot of you, maybe even a plurality of you in my audience, are over the age of 35. And unlike beta males or alpha male 1.0s who eventually surrender to monogamy, which is the vast majority of alpha male 1.0s, we alpha male 2.0s do not have the option of just aging like shit like most Western men do. Most Western guys, as they get into their 40s, they start getting fat, they start getting bald, they start getting the gray hair, their skin looks like shit, they dress like shit, their posture suffers, they start to walk with a stoop, and this just gets worse into their 50s and certainly into their 60s. It's awful, and I personally know, and I've seen guys on the internet, celebrities too, but I personally know men who, when they were in their 20s and 30s, looked really good and were alpha males, they were players, they did very well with women, they had very high self-esteem, a lot of confidence because they looked really good, and as soon as they hit their 40s, their looks just took a fucking nosedive. And today in their 40s or 50s or even early 60s, they look terrible. They look awful. Too much drugs, alcohol, eating whatever they want, not paying attention to their skin, and so on. You don't have that option as an alpha male 2.0 because you will never be monogamous. I will never be monogamous, 100% monogamous, even though I'm married, and even though many of you will eventually settle down and be married too, or married in some form or fashion, you will still have multiple women in your life, which means you need to bring in new women on an occasional basis, off and on, for the rest of your life. And so if you look like a pile of shit, that's going to be a little difficult. But there are other reasons why you should look as young as you can for as long as you can, and here are the top 5 reasons, and as usual, they are listed in no particular order. Number 1, top of the list, just to get it out of the way, because that's what most of you are thinking, is women. Yes, it is easier for you to attract women into your life, women of all ages, if you look young for your age. If you are 56, but you look 46 or 40, you're going to have a much easier time, statistically speaking, than if you are 56 and look 56, and certainly if you're 56 and you look like you're in your 60s. I experienced some of this myself. Back about 10 years ago, I looked much worse than I did now. I had clearly thinning hair. I was much more chubby than I am now. I didn't really know how to dress. I had screwed up teeth. I didn't look nearly as good as I do today. And even today, I don't think I look good, but I think I look presentable, especially considering I'm about to turn 50. I don't look 50. But when I made improvements, when I addressed these problems, my skin, my hair, my teeth, my weight, my fashion, my posture, various things like that, I noticed in my dating statistics, and as always, I've tracked my dating on spreadsheets since 2008, I noticed a clear difference in the number of women I would have to meet in order to meet my dating or sexual goals. In other words, it took me a lot less time and a lot less effort to get the same amount of women when my appearance was better. And you'd kind of think, well, duh. Yes, you think duh, but then why are you guys, at least many of you, starting to look like shit as you get into your late 30s, 40s, and 50s? You're kind of violating that, aren't you? So because you will not be monogamous for the rest of your life, and because your woman life will be a factor for the rest of your life, you will need to look as young as you possibly can. Now, let me make an aside really quick and talk about what looking young means. This is my opinion, but I have some data to support this opinion. I think, this is my opinion, that men, in terms of their physical appearance, max out around age 37. So in my opinion, men who are 37 tend to look better in terms of their physical appearance. I'm not talking about income or personality or anything like that. Just physically tend to look better than men who are older than 37 and certainly look a lot better than men who are younger than 37. I don't think men in their 20s look all that great. I think men look better in their 30s. That'd be very different than women, obviously. So my goal is to look as close to age 37 as I can for the rest of my life. as best as I'm able to do that within my genetics, within my budget, and within other factors that we can't control. And that really is the only factor you can't control is genetics. Budget you could affect because you could raise your income. But if you set a similar goal, if you set a goal to look as close to 37 or pick some other age that you like for as long as you can within reason, I think you're going to do well. Reason number 2, very closely related to reason number 1, and that is higher quality women and or younger women. So obviously, this should go without saying, but I'll give you a specific example in a moment. It will be much easier for you to attract higher quality, in other words, better looking women as you get older if you don't look like shit when you get older. It will also be easier to attract younger women when you get older, if that's a priority for you. I have had several occasions now over the last few years where I would meet women, very young women for the first time, women between the age of 18 and 23, and as soon as they saw me in real life, they looked at me and said, wow, you look really good, or wow, you look so young, or wow, you're really good looking. I've had that several times now over the past few years. And I'm telling you, it makes a difference in terms of bringing new, younger women into my life. Now, if you are not concerned with dating much younger women as you get older, that is perfectly fine. I'm talking about whatever is high quality for you. Let me give you a specific example of this. And I can give you many examples like this, but this is one of my favorite ones. Many years ago on my blog, I was talking about older men dating much younger women. And I had a woman write in the comments. She was about 19, 20 years old. And she was what I call a VYW type 1. She was these types of girls who thinks that any woman who dates an older man is disgusting and gross, and she would never do that. And she wrote several paragraphs about how it would be totally disgusting for her as a 19-year-old girl to have sex with a guy who was over the age of about 35, certainly in his 40s, how gross and disgusting that would be, and how she would never, ever, ever do something that disgusting or inappropriate. And I responded to her and I said, so you wouldn't have sex with Hugh Jackman? Because around that time, Hugh Jackman was about 46, 47 years old. And immediately she responded and she said, well, of course I would. Most older men don't look like that. Exactly. So she wasn't protesting the age. She was protesting how older men typically look. So if you're an older man, but still look decent, still look good, at least still look young if you're not a naturally good-looking guy, I am certainly not, then these women who are younger, who might not be amenable to someone older, suddenly will have much less of a problem because you don't look like the typical older man. Most women who don't like older men, when they say that, what are they envisioning? They're envisioning the dorky-looking beta male dad next door, right? The guy next door who wears the khaki pants, who works at Intel with the big pot belly and the big bald spot, dresses like a dork, acts like a dork. That's the guy she envisions when you say a man in his 40s or a man in his 50s. She is probably not envisioning someone who has no wrinkles, a full head of hair, who isn't fat, who dresses kind of cool, who walks tall, has good posture, isn't a creeper, isn't a weirdo, it doesn't act like a nerd, and so forth. So if you look young for your age, even though you're an older man, not only will it be easier to attract women, it will be easier to attract the type of women that you want. Either higher quality women and or much younger women, whatever it is you like. Before I go to the third item, there's something you should do. You should subscribe to this channel, click the dumb notification bell, like this video, and leave a comment on this video. You can say whatever you want, doesn't really matter. The more algorithm-friendly activity I get in this content, the more of this content I will provide for you for free, so you're just helping yourself. Item number 3. The third reason it is critical for you to maintain a youthful look as you get older is your business and your income. There is massive empirical and scientific data that shows that when you are in direct competition for a client or a customer or branding or marketing, and you look better than the other guy, you tend to get the business more often and your income tends to be higher. And just think through this yourself. Let's say you are hiring someone, a consultant, or you're considering buying a book from someone, or it doesn't really matter, some kind of business scenario, and you have two choices. Both of these choices are men and they're both 55 years old. And one guy looks like me, and the other guy has gray hair, he has terrible skin, he's got wrinkles, he has fucked up teeth, and he's dressed like a dork, and he's kind of hunched over. Most likely, all other factors being equal, the odds are good you're going to choose me over him, assuming everything else is equal. So yes, looking better as you get older and looking younger as you get older will have a direct reflection on your business income. And again, they've done numerous studies on this. It's very obvious. Some strange things like they know for a fact that if you are taller, Men who are taller tend to have higher incomes because people perceive taller men as competent. Well, there you go. So if you look younger, or at least young for your age, you're likely better off in terms of your income. This is one of the reasons, by the way, that when I turned 30, I was so happy. I was happy to turn 30. I started out in the business world, as many of you know, in my early 20s, and I have kind of a baby face, and I looked basically like a 5-year-old throughout my 20s. I looked like a little kid, and it was very hard for people to take me seriously in the business world. So finally, when I turned 30, I felt a lot better about that. Okay, good. Finally, I look kind of like an adult, and now people can start taking me seriously. That's why it is also justifiable to spend a little money on skin procedures or what have you as you get older, because this becomes a profit center. This becomes an income source for you. I have mentioned before, when I first went on TRT, testosterone replacement therapy, many years ago, within a few months, my average monthly income went up by 82%. Just by me going on TRT. So do you think the few $100s it cost me to maintain my TRT bothers me or bothered me then? No, because I was making so much more money, it was actually a profit center for me. So when you're in the Alpha 2.0 business world, especially if you're in a scenario where clients or prospects or customers see you, either see pictures of you or see you one-on-one or see you on Zoom videos, it is worth it financially for you to spend the money to look as young as you can within reason. Let me take another side really quick. I said within reason. If you're 60, I don't expect you to look 22. I just don't. That's okay. I'm talking about look as young as you can, as best you can, based on your age and your genetics. If you're 60, you should look 45 or 50. If you're 65, you should look 55 or in your early 50s. I don't expect you to look like you're 25, but I certainly don't want you to look like you're 65. If you need help designing an Alpha 2.0 business or figuring out ways to look younger as you get older, you can join my SMIC program. That's my monthly mentorship and coaching program. That's at joinsmic.com. We talk about how-tos on all these topics. You can check it out. It's actually the cheapest way to get access to me directly. Number 4 reason it's important to age well is, and this is something guys forget, and they shouldn't, it's one of the most important reasons. Matter of fact, probably the most important reason on this list is self-esteem. You will feel better about yourself when you look good for your age. You just will. A core baseline of Alpha Male 2.0 is what? Confidence and outcome independence. And you will have more confidence and more outcome independence when you feel good about yourself, when you generally like what you see in the mirror. You don't have to be perfect. I certainly don't look perfect. But when you generally like what you see in the mirror as compared to men of your age, you will be happier. And Alpha Male 2.0 is really about, and bottom line, long-term masculine happiness. If you look in the mirror and you look like shit, you're going to be less happy than if you look in the mirror and go, hey, I look pretty good. I talk about leverage skills. I talk about things like time management, where if you learn this one skill, it benefits all the other areas of your life. Having a healthy self-esteem is one of those. Having a healthy self-esteem benefits all the other areas of your life. Your overall happiness, your business, your income, your woman life, your sex life, everything, your 5 flag stuff. All that stuff benefits when you like yourself. And so certainly as you get older, you don't want to be like a woman where she sees a wrinkle and bursts into tears for the next 3 months. You don't want to be like that. So you want to look in the mirror when you're an older guy, go, wow, I look pretty good. And especially when you start comparing yourselves to guys who look as old as you. Trust me, I take an extra look at a lot of men that I see who are 50, who are my age. And I love it because almost 100% of these men look older than me. It's great. One of my favorite things to do, I haven't done this in a while, is to go on my personal Facebook page and look at men I went to high school with. I just did this a few weeks ago with Pink Firefly. And so these are guys who are my age, exactly in many cases, and to see how old those guys look as compared to me. It's nice, and it's good for my self-esteem. It'll be good for yours. Reason number 5, you want to look as young as you can for as long as you can, is longevity. Generally speaking, most of the things that you will have to do to look younger will be good for you and will actually extend your life. Now, there's 1 or 2 weird exceptions to this, but almost everything you can do to improve your skin, to look better in terms of your skin quality, to look better at your hair quality, to not become a super fat ass as you get older. All of these things are usually good for you and will actually extend your life. And I don't know about you, but I want to keep this party going for as long as I can. One of my biggest goals in life is to live a very, very, very long time while being spry and active and healthy. And so by having anti-aging as one of your objectives in life, that will actually bolster your other objective of living a long time. Now, if you don't want to live a long time, then fine. But I do. And I assume most of you do. People who look younger, generally speaking, are healthier than people who don't look as young for the same age. This is just a fact. You can talk to your doctor if you don't believe me. I want you to live a long time. I want you to be an alpha male 2.0 with multiple women on rotation, making a good, solid, location-independent income, perhaps even living a Five Flags lifestyle. And I want you doing that for the rest of your life for a long time, into your 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and post 100 if you can make it. Not bad. If you want an actual real example of how I have handled this myself in terms of how I look, in terms of my age and my genetics and things like that, you can watch this video on various things I've done to improve or at least mitigate my personal appearance. That'll give you an example. But think about this. This is important for you guys over the age of 35, and I will see you in the next video. Have fun. Bye.